AskReddit by Retta Zero Danger. What is something that is widely normalized but is actually really fucked up? Restaurants and grocery stores throwing away mass quantities of good, edible food and not being allowed to donate it. During the pandemic, my wife had to close down a restaurant, and an entire kitchen was to be emptied and thrown out. One chef knew of a women's shelter and we packed everything up. Think of Panera, including a printer lot, and it took 3 catering cars to ship. It was bittersweet. Sad to see the place go, but so much quality food and equipment was shipped to them. Hotel pans, deeps, utensils, blenders, cleaning supplies, toilet paper. Fuck, they could have opened up a restaurant, but it's an establishment that demands privacy. We just had an in-person. Parents posting their children's entire lives on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok and treating them as accessories instead of people. Imagine the horror stories we'll probably hear from these kidfluencers in 10-20 years time. I mean, not even just kidfluencers. I'm so glad my whole childhood wasn't posted up on social media or something. It feels like something that could be used against you eventually. The posts that do my head in, mothers posting up about how their kids have autism, cognitive issues, learning disabilities, etc. It feels like kids aren't getting a chance to ever expect privacy as adults, or to be able to have their own secrets. Having to pay for vision and dental insurance in addition to health insurance. Last time I checked, your eyeballs and teeth were part of your body and should be considered under medical insurance. Teeth or luxury bones. Corporate crimes having almost no consequences. But sometimes they get fined. Usually a small percentage of what said crime gained them in profits. Fines just put a price tag on crimes. Say a company is fined $1 million for deforesting an area but makes $2 million selling the wood. Why wouldn't they do it? Viral cringe freakout videos, especially of minors. I was a super weird kid, and thank God I grew up before social media and smartphones were a thing. I don't know how I'd ever get over my spazziest moments being seen and ridiculed by millions of people. I am so happy that there were no cell phones back when we used to have parties and we were goofing around. I feel bad for people now because everyone is recording everything they see and posting it wherever they want to without a thought of the people they recorded. South Africa specific answer: having your electricity switched off for several hours a day. This can range from 2 to 8 hours a day. We just organize our lives around it like it isn't a thing cause we've been doing it for 16 years now. South African here. Feel your comment in my bones. Made the jump to move to another country last year for better opportunities. I can't explain how weird it was to suddenly be living in a place that had electricity 24/7. I realized how minute to minute I'd been managing my life every day. Everything from charging your phone, to laptop, camera batteries, making sure load shedding light bulbs are charged up, etc. I look around at the lives of people who have never had to go without basic services and it's a strange kind of feeling. Expecting people to be contactable 24/7 and acting like someone is rude if they don't respond relatively promptly. Back when the main form of contact was calls, it was deemed relatively normal for people to not answer as they were busy or not home. Therefore it was so much easier to switch off and enjoy other things. Now it's expected that people are pretty much connected to everyone all the time, and if you try to disconnect from that a bit it can almost get you socially ostracized. You can relate it to workplaces as well and the rise of employers basically expecting workers to be contactable 24/7. Here in Australia, the government wants to bring in right to disconnect laws like they have in France, where employers can't expect workers to be on call outside of work hours unless they pay overtime. The opposition has promised to overturn any such laws if they win government's eye. Trying to guilt the consumer into thinking that they are the ones who can really make a difference with recycling, when 98% of all waste is industrial, retail and restaurant, and none of them are big on recycling if they do it at all. Figure is from science writer Elizabeth Freud's book Garbage Land. They do this in my state with water usage. You can get fined for watering your lawn too much, and there is a huge push for residents to cut water usage. Well, residential water usage is only 6% of all water used in the state. 90% is used for commercial and farming purposes. A push to save water there could save more water than all residents use combined, but it's on us for whatever reason. It's all to grow alfalfa in a desert, a lot of which is exported. Having toddlers scroll TikTok so they shut up. Hell, every human under 12 shouldn't be anywhere near. That's very bad parenting. Even though TikTok's banned where I live, my aunt's been giving her kid YouTube since she was 2, just to keep her quiet during meals. Now she's 5 and won't eat without a phone in hand. Working yourself to death. The Japanese have a term called kiroshi, which offers incentives to widows from death by overwork. Worshipping politicians. Yeah, as an Australian it's crazy to me. No one likes politicians in Australia at all. Edit, I'm gonna hijack my own comment for visibility lol. It's so important that we don't worship politicians because that's how they get away with shit like crime. Looking at you, Trumpy. Breaking election promises and just outright bad decision making. For anyone reading this comment, politics matters, and on top of voting every chance you get, please hold your politicians accountable for the actions they take. No politician is perfect, but they depend on the views of voters for their power, and with enough voices telling them what the voters want, they're more likely to do that to appease the public. Zero expectations of privacy. We're all expected to behave like we could be recorded at any time, and we wonder why everyone has anxiety now. I found 8 photos of myself online in odd sitting positions with people making fun of me in the comments. Nobody asked permission. I'm autistic, so my movements are a bit weird. I fucking hate it. Poor care of beginner pets like goldfish, hamsters, leopard geckos etc. The fact that one betta fish requires at least a 5-gallon tank is the reason I didn't get one as a pet in college. I'm so glad I researched that, because I realized how horribly bettas are treated and people don't care because they're fish. Working 40+ hours a week to make enough money to still be in poverty. Phone use while behind the wheel. Every trip out is a death roulette game. I see someone nearly drift into my lane all the time. This is my biggest pet peeve. I'd say a solid 80% of drivers on the road are what I call non-drivers. These non-drivers don't understand that driving is a full body experience. You constantly need to be looking forward, behind, to the sides, and assessing what's going on around you while driving. You feel input from the steering wheel regarding the tires and traction you currently have. Non-drivers think you just get in and go and give zero thought about driving way too slow or too fast, or being in someone's blind spot, not merging properly, tailgating, etc. The list goes on and on. And all that shitty driving can happen without a cell phone involved. Add a cell phone and it's exactly like Russian roulette, like you said. More people need to actually realize that driving is super fucking dangerous and requires your full attention for the duration of the drive. Getting puppies for Christmas just to rehome a couple months later, dump at shelters. And bunnies for Easter. Treating children like dirt and expecting respect in return. People in power tend to think respect is subservience. Respect my authority, but only for people beneath them. You respect me and I'll respect you usually translates to submit to my will and I'll allow you to exist. Dumping unwanted cats off in the country because some farmer will take them in. No, they won't. Farmers already have enough cats and the existing population will typically drive off outsiders. So now you have a house cat with no survival skills in the middle of nowhere being easy prey for coyotes, foxes, owls, or farm dogs. And that's if they don't get hit by a car like happens to a great many abandoned pets. Is this widely normalized? Apparently I am very sheltered. This is coming from a woman's point of view, but being expected to spend hundreds of dollars on someone else's wedding, Between buying the dress, nails, makeup, hair, shoes, bridal shower gift, bachelorette party, wedding gift, time off of work etc. It's just a lot, and I understand you are celebrating someone you are close with, but today people can barely afford to pay their bills, so shout out to the people who want all of these extravagant things for their weddings and are willing to cover all of the cost of said things. I almost backed out of my friend's wedding a few years ago because of this. Her and her fiance both waited tables for a living, but she had an engagement party with a color-coded dress code, bridal shower, a full day road trip through a blizzard to go dress shopping at a high-end boutique, monthly game nights with the whole wedding party, a wedding party secret Santa, etc. And of course the wedding party had to foot the bill for all of it. I finally spoke up when she wanted a weekend-long, out-of-state bachelorette, which led to a very heated discussion in the bridesmaid group chat. One bridesmaid dropped out of the wedding and 3 others, including myself, came pretty close. The amount of plastic we use. It's absolutely insane. And then companies say they are reducing waste but actually making more plastic to say that they are saving the planet. The amount of sugar we consume and give our kids. I finally found a can of peaches that didn't have added sugar or sweeteners in it. It cost $6.50. What the fuck is wrong with us? Worshipping celebrities, politicians, etc. like they're a god. They're just another person. It's fine with liking someone, but fuck basing your whole personality around liking a certain orange man or that actor from stupid movie 17, the quadriceps. Side hustles to get by. Fuck, if you're working full time you should be able to get by. And they're not side hustles. They're part-time jobs. You're working 2 jobs. Filming strangers without their knowledge or consent and posting it online for millions to see. In 2004, when I started my filmmaking classes, I did some B-roll of a crowd outside of a metro station. My teacher told me, you can't film people without their consent or knowledge. You either needs to put a disclaimer somewhere, or film their back or feet. I felt very bad about it. Somehow, this is the new normal now. I was at IKEA the other day and someone was just filming around and I'm pretty sure my face was in there. It's upsetting. Driving drunk high among teens. People my age, 18. Often mention it in passing like it's no big deal, then I'm treated like a wet blanket for making a thing out of it. No, Kevin, you don't drive better high, you're just selfish. I had a coworker your age who one day bragged about being basically blind without glasses and how she'd drive drunk on the weekends. She never wore glasses nor contacts. In shock I blurted out, Jesus, you're gonna kill someone doing that. Her only response was, well, I haven't so far, before she turned her back to me. Somehow I was the one in the wrong, though, and got some shitty looks from the others working with us.